Hello guys, Dos here, and today we have a video going over the 2v2 Ironman that me and my teammate have played in the GGJibriel $2,000 tournament. I'll be sure to put the GGJibriel YouTube and Twitch down below, and this will be my first video on the channel. So without further ado, let's get going. So we're playing versus Trif Gaming. Obviously, me and Trif are boys, so there's going to be some friendly banter here and there. None of it is serious. There is no hate between us. Yada yada yada. So we will rock paper scissors shoot, and we start. So I will be going over our plays and also why we've decided to do some sequencing and whether in hindsight I think it was correct or not, and whether after rethinking it over whether I changed my mind, right? Because you guys have to understand that when you're in the middle of these 2v2s, it's a lot different than when you're on the outside. There's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of time constraints that normally are not there. So yeah, so our hand is Take Your Soul, Izuna, Fualos, Nibiru, and Forced Liberation. And the first decision that you have to make with this hand is whether you play or not. Because this hand is very weak, and playing runs you the risk of killing your Fualos, and all of a sudden, like Stake Your Soul, you don't have any good attributes for it. So you only have Earth, which can summon Mad Love, or Caesar Values. Obviously, Caesar Values will do nothing, so it has to be Holy Su, right? Yeah, I meant to say Holy Su at the start, but yeah, it's Holy Su or Caesar Values, so you have to summon Holy Su, and then you have to normal summon Izuna because Holy Su does not do anything, and then you can set up Ripper. But again, that usually does not do anything. However, the reason we decided to play, if we were playing versus any other deck, aside from maybe Malice because they can OTKS under Nib and under Fua, then I would probably pass and have Fua, Nib, Izuna, and try to stop them with that, get some draws, hopefully have a better attribute for my Stake Your Soul. However, because I know they're playing Yummy and I cannot beat the Yummy small board with this hand, especially because once I follows him, and I assume the follows is going to resolve because if it doesn't, I'll probably lose in the game. But yeah, I assume my Izuna is going to be dead. So I follows him, it resolves, he gives me exactly one, maybe two draws. He can only give me one if he wants to, and I can't beat the end board with this weak hand. So I decided to play. Almost summon, he hits that, which I do not agree with. I don't think this was doing anything that was threatening. I don't see why he impermed it. Maybe it was to stop Lupus on his turn, which I could see. But since he was going to Valor impermit, then I do not see what it accomplished. It doesn't play around anything in hand. It doesn't play around Lantern because I will detach for Lantern. Here he plays around it on summon, set force release. He has three normal summons, which is unfortunate. I put him on Better Habit, and we just have Werewolf OTK. If he had Imperm for Werewolf, we would go attack once, and then set Force Release, and set a Zeus. And then if he had an out for the Zeus, we would have Nibiru. So it was not that bad of a game set at that point, but he did not have the Imperm for the Werewolf, so we just game. And that was the one game where it didn't take that much, I would say. The other games, maybe this one as well, but the other games were far harder and far more drawn out, I would say. So here, I will have to speak about very quickly about why we chose to follow us here and not on Kagari. So a lot of people have the idea that it's better to do on Kagari, and I can see that point. But my thought process is I go on Kagari, he so far gives me no draws, goes Horned Drones, and then he goes Link 2, add Cupsy, and that's one draw, and then special summon Cupsy, Cupsy effect, add Quick Play, and then he makes Link 1, that's two draws. Whereas if I do it here and he wants to play without giving me draws, then he has to hard draw the card that he wants to give me draws with. So he has to use another card from hand, or he has to go Kagari, Interlink 1, and that's just an extra draw with the same sequence that he was going for. So I think that it is correct to full allos here, especially if you do not want him to extend. With my hand, I have a very powerful engine hand. I have Yokul, Yaolong, Madlove, and Talent, and Case of K9. So I'm feeling pretty confident. So I do not want him to extend, and if he does extend, I want him to give me the maximum draws, so I chose to full allos him. On my turn, I have Case of K9, Yokul, Yaolong, Madlove. I know that he plays Purge, and I'm trying to force Purge. If I go a Case of K9, Yokul is very strong into his hand because it plays around Judgment. It's very good into Imperm, and he has Surprise in hand. So he's trying to deny my Yokul access. So if I start with Yokul, he's not going to purge anything, he's going to save it, and he may even go like Imperm something else, and then purge my Ripper, which kind of hurts, and then he can leave his Judgment of something else. But if I pretend that I do not have the access for the Yokul, then I go Case of K9, then it forces the purge if he does have it, which he did. And you might be thinking that maybe it's like Yokul next, but you're trying to force out the Imperms, because otherwise if I go Yokul, he's just saving the Imperm. So I'm trying to force out everything he has, and then I go for Yokul. So here he Judgments. Right now, we know that the non-engine he plays is Purge, Judgment, and Imperm, so this can either be another Imperm, another Purge, or another Judgment. So if it's Purge, we don't care because it's hard ones per turn. If it's Imperm, we don't care because we're about to OTK him. And if it's Judgment, we just have to play around Judgment. So we go Special Summon Yokul. If it's a hand trap in hand, we have Talents that deals with that. And then we can like take and go for game. And here we activate Ripper. We don't get Judgmented on this. Doesn't mean that he doesn't have Judgment, by the way. Because if he does Judgment this, we just go Lantern and we kill over Token because Token is 0. And the other body kills him because he will be at 2k. So we just go Ripper, add, and we just summon Lantern. If we make an Xyz here, we do play into the Judgment, because then it's no longer game. So we just go end main phase, game. And that is the first replay. So we win the first match. This is the second match, which is the more interesting match, I would say. Maybe there is a third match, we will see. But yeah, we win the rock, paper, scissors, shoot again. Talented player. And then we see this hand. So obviously your first thought when seeing this hand is, who did I hurt in a past life to deserve this? Probably someone. But yeah, this is a very terrible hand. Especially into Yummy, because they can UTK you pretty easily. And the goal with this hand is to not die. That is the goal. So he normal summons and I will double full allos him. Some people may say it's incorrect because you're trying to actually make him like play so that he gives you draws so that you have your engine. However, the moment he gets that Link 1, he can OTK me with possibly any level 1 in hand, because Link 1 goes for Field Spell, and then he goes Field Spell Revive, and then if he has any level 1 in hand, he summons that, and it's probably just game on board, while giving me 1 draw. And you may think, why didn't we Perulia? But like, Perulia, there's like so many starters that he can start with that don't even play into it. And Fualos makes it so that if he starts with Obedience, Schooled, he can get 2 draws guaranteed off of that. If he starts with the Sky Striker engine, we guarantee at least 1 draw, maybe 2 if both resolve, but then he's probably not going to play at that point. But yeah, he normal summons, he gives us the draws, and he sets up the mini board. Unfortunately, the mini board is enough to stop us. Unless we top deck something really good. And we top deck the rest of the Molcharmies that are in DB. Here, it's unfortunate because usually he would either imperm this, or save Purge for the field spell, or maybe even Purge this. However, we got really unlucky that he had Ogre, and Ogre just checks the field spell without needing to use Imperm or Purge, so he can save his Imperm for something better like a Holy Su, and he can save Purge for something better like a Yokul Ad, which is not that good, but Stake Your Soul for Raisin, something of the sort. But yeah, we want start. We expected Purge, but we got hit with Ogre. We want Borger effective draw, we got hit with Veiler. Here we're trying one last ditch effort because we full lost him. We're trying to draw something good, and we just draw another Molcharmy. So that is 5 Molcharmies drawn. We're going game 2, and this is a very solid hand. Theory-wise, both hands are extremely good. 2 hand traps, ideally he wants a third one, but yeah, 2 hand traps, starter, another starter, and they both serve as starter extender if you start with Obedience School, because this can also like full combo on its own. And then this can be either a board breaker, a utility card, or an extender if need be. And he has 2 hand traps. And here we have Talent's Thrust, which is a double-edged sword, I would say, because obviously Talent and Thrust are really good, but if he has no hand traps, then it's just 2 dead cards in my hand, and there's a very high chance he OTKs me, and even if he doesn't, I don't think that they're enough to stop his board. So we have 2 possible plays, unless you consider normal summon Izuna, which is not a real play. So we go normal summon Madlov, or we activate Yoku. Now, if you activate Yoku, you have to think about the plays in that sequence. So if I activate Yoku, and I go Yokel effect, the only hand trap that that can possibly play into is draw. If he has an Ash Blossom, which he does, or an Imperm, or whatever, he's not using it on Yokel because it makes no sense. It makes him go -1. So he will save his hand traps. And if he has a monster hand trap, and then I go Yokel, summon Izuna, Izuna effect, send Lupus, Yokel, add Lantern, overlay for Ripper, and he does have a Veiler or Ash. He's never using it because it just trades badly into the Ripper. He's probably saving it rather than making my Izuna live, making my Talents live, and possibly making my Thrust live. So in my head, I'm like, the only way I can force him to actually give me value for the Thrust, especially because I play really good Thrust targets, which we will see, is to start with Madlov, because Madlov eats interruptions. If he has an Imperm, he's Imperm in Madlov. If he has a Veiler, he's Veiler in Madlov. If he has an Ogre, he's Ogre in the field spell. If he has an Ash Blossom, he's Ash in Madlov or field spell. It's just gonna eat every possible hand trap. Obviously, we don't want it to be Imperm because we want these cards to be live, but that's why we opted to start with the Madlov. So we do start with Madlov, and he chooses to Ash it. Now, this was a big misplay, in my opinion, because not only does it make Izuna live, which could make me extend, it's also really, really, really bad into talent cards, into thrust cards, and into the canine cards. So what that makes it is that now he has Prosperity, Imperm, Cup C, School. I get to look at his hand and I get to play. And with perfect hand knowledge, this is the position that I want to be at every single match. I want to know exactly what my opponent has, so I don't have to like spend time thinking about what they could have. Right? So now I go to Unstake, I'm weighing my options. Obedience School looks like a very, very strong card, but when you pair it with the fact that my Thrust is gonna set a Black Goat Laughs, and Black Goat Laughs calling Link 1 just solos Obedience School, so that's out of the question. Normal Summon Kapsi Yummy can play into the Link 1, right? Because he can go no Obedience School, no Summon Kapsi Yummy, add another name, then make a Almirage or a Anima, and then special summon the name he added, and then he can synchro with those 2. And that looks very good. However, the issue with that is, A, I'm gonna have more cards on my field, and B, that doesn't really accomplish anything, because even if he plays, even if he combos, he cannot special summon the Snatchy, which means that he cannot synchro on my turn, which means that he cannot set up anything other than maybe Heralds, but I'm always stopping Heralds. So it's between Impermanence and Prosperity, and if I play Yokel, then Imperm will never stop me from making anything. So I chose to take away Prosperity. And I tried to make him use the Imperm, but he played very well. He did not fall for the bait. There was no good Imperm. If he Impermed Yokel, I would have had Lantern access from Ripper. If he Impermed Ripper, I would have went Lantern effect, Lantern add Case of K9, add my Izuna, and then I would go for Nash Knight, and instead of ending on Nash Knight, I would go Nash Knight effect into Masquerade, into Big Masquerade, and then Big Masquerade pops Case of K9 sets Force Release. So I will always end on the Force Release with the Joker. Yeah, this, we just add more follow-up, Case of K9, add another Yokel, and here, make sure that our follow-up is maximized. We don't thrust yet because we don't want him to know that we're going to stop these. And we make the Nash Knight with the Lupus to prevent him from impermanent on his turn, because Lupus has the effect where an Xyz monster that has this material is untargetable. So Imperm Ripper, absolutely nothing. Imperm Nash Knight does absolutely nothing. He can Imperm Rock of the Vanquisher to prevent the Mad Love effect that bounces, because we do have an Earth and a Dark. But that is just -1 in my opinion. He draws another Imperm, he does go Imperm on Rock, that's perfectly fine. He goes Obedience School, Black Goat laughs, calling Snatchy, and there it is. And this is game number 3. He's going first, and this is up. So, thoughts looking at this hand, it's a very strong hand, obviously. Missing a fire, unfortunately, which would have been really good. But you can't really be complaining about such a hand. We have Fool, also have Pankratops, and we have Holy Stew with the 2 mediocre attributes, but still 2 attributes, but nonetheless. Shout out to Christian Smyger, whoever this guy is. So we hit him with Fool here, same concept as always. If he passes, I go Pankratops, I have Stake Your Soul for Mad Love, or Borger. I can also just go for Caesar Values, try to set up an OTK line with Holy Stew Take, something of the sort. He gives me my first draw, sets Field Spell Revive, reveals that he's cutting the engine. He adds Ogre here, and if you've played a lot versus Vanquish Soul K9, there's like an order of hand traps. And as you may have noticed, he banished a Veiler, he banished an Ogre, and he banished a Purge. So Purge is like the highest in the hand trap category, like Purge and Ash Blossom. He didn't reveal an Ash Blossom, he revealed the Purge. But he didn't take Purge, he took Ogre, which is strictly mediocre, or strictly worse than the Purge. So that led me to believe that he does already have a Purge. So now the known cards are Yummy Surprise and Ghost Ogre, but the actual known cards for me are Yummy Surprise, Purge, and Ghost Ogre. Because I'm respecting him. I know that he is a good player. I know he's going to play correctly, to the most part. Same goes both ways. So when you are playing versus a good player, you are able to make such, I wouldn't say decisions, but such assumptions. Because no one in their right mind would take like a Ogre if they don't have a purchase. Like playing versus Branded and taking an Imperm over an Ash Blossom. Sort of. Like, yes, Imperm can stop their turn as well, but like Ash Blossom is just strictly superior, right? Anyways. He goes Review, Revive. I go Holy Stew end of main because I want him to extend more with the Fualos. And I also want my Holy Stew to have the hand effect because it may come up. Another thing is, it being summoned this turn means that if he Book of Moons it, I can flip it face up. There's a lot of good reasons why you do it. The only bad reasons are him playing Thrust and Talents. But I think that if he had like Thrust and Talents, it would be like a 1 card in all of his cards because we know 3 cards in his hand basically. And we know the 2 spell traps, so it would have to be the last card in his hand. Here, he took quite a while to think, a little banter here and there. And we top deck a Reinforcement of the Army. So we start with Summon Pankratops because we do not want him to like force us into using the Holy Stew effect, and then we both control the same number of monsters and I no longer get my Pankratops value. He doesn't do anything, which is effectively smart. And because we know Ogre, we can't like start with normal summon Mad Love to bait the Purge, because we know he's always going to save Ghost Ogre for the field spell. So based on that knowledge, I think it's fine to start with Reinforcement of the Army, put him on maybe like not have the Purge. But he did, obviously. Here I made a misplay. I'm not going to say we, but I made a misplay. I did not notice, or rather I forgot that the minion of this to 1000 attack. I thought these both were at 0. So that made me think that I could take the Cup C, which would have forced me into a good game state. But it didn't, and that was very, very unfortunate. Because Take Your Soul, Summon Borger effect, and now keep in mind my opponent knows every card I have in my hand, he knows every card there is on the field, so when I use Borger effect and he's thinking that maybe Borger can like draw us into a fire, like a Raisin would be really good for me because Ogre no longer deals with it, and then Raisin can add Caesar Valius, and then Caesar Valius can add can like just out his board, more or less. So based on that, he does Valor the Burger. There's also like draws of like K9 cards that are drawable because he will have Ogre, and like an Izuna will be really, really good. So now this Ogre and this Mad Love are just stalemating each other. They're just waiting for each other. We do a little more banter. He tells me, like I tell him to play faster. He tells me he's gonna take his time. And when he said he's gonna take his time, I kind of was, I kind of took my time as well, even though I didn't really need it. I was just trying to be a bit spiteful, but that's all in good fun. Anyways, special summon, Holy Sue, he uses effect. And here I'm thinking, because my game plan right now, I don't think I can win with follow-up because I do not have my access to a fire. I don't think I can win with the K9 engine because he's never going to let me resolve it. So the only way to win is to make sure that this minion gets banished. Because I know he doesn't play another minion. Now, I thought that he played a Crocky. I did not know whether he did or not, but I thought he did. Turns out he did not, which was kind of unfortunate because I did base a lot of my plays on that. However, Shane in Pankotops here, targeting this Nachi, will only make it so that he goes surprise, and then he will go for the synchro regardless, and then he will have access to the field spell, and all of a sudden this deals with this, he deals with 2 of my bodies, I have 2 more bodies, and he can just pop 1 with a Crocky field spell and book the other 2, and that's just game, right? Because he just pops this Holy Sue, and he books this that was summoned this turn, and this that was summoned this turn, and Pankotops is out of the field, and I can't see a way to win that game at that point. So yeah, I cannot chain Pankotops here. We allow, he goes for the Book of Moon, and this is like extremely good for me, kind of, because if he Book of Moons the big guys, aka Boger and Pankotops, then I still have 2 Holy Sues that can attack. And another thing is, since this is Yummy Surprise, I can just go overlay for a Ripper, and then Ripper attack the Yummy way, and then I go Ripper effect. And not only does that stop his Ghost Soldier now, so that Madlove will now get me into a fire and then into my engine, because normal Madlove add fire and then add back Holy Sue, and then on his turn I can add back the dark, and Holy Sue has fire dark, and then I can get my 2 interruptions, one with Raise and one with Caesar values. But also I think I'm in a perfectly winning position then. I can maybe even go for the SP that I was trying to go for. But the other alternative is targeting Holy Sue and Borger, or like Pankotops and Holy Sue, and then it's like anyone's game depending on the place, and that's what he does. This is the only correct target. Now, chain in Pankotops, I don't think is correct, because if I chain Pankotops, what am I targeting? I target Yummy Surprise, he goes chain Yummy Surprise, return minion to hand, or he goes Cookie probably, yeah, he goes Cookie effect, put back in the extra deck to revive. He gets Snatchy and Cupsy. He gets Cupsy effect for follow-up. He gets Snatchy to place a Crocky. And he also, this surprise will return the minion. So now I can't remove minion, and now I cannot deal with his stuff on his turn. B, if I target the surprise, it's the same exact. So whether I target minion or target surprise, he can always just Shane Cookie Yummy Way, Shane Surprise, get back his minion with the 3rd effect, which actually comes up a lot more than people think. This is the one that saves your field spells. And yeah. So now we switch the token to attack because this token is just dead. It's just going to go back to him, which is a level 1. We don't want that. It can also be a link 1 if he still has Kagari. We saw that he banished Kagari. We didn't know if he banished Link Spider as well. But with Link Spider, it was a link 1 and a level 1. So we want to crash it. So now we go attack. This is an attack so that just in case we can maybe push more damage. So here has 3 possible plays. Play number 1 is go Yummy Surprise, add back minion back to hand, and let us kill over these. The issue with that play is, while it does protect minion, puts him on top deck. If he does not top deck, he is screwed. Play number 2 is what he did. He goes for Yummy Surprise, activates, guarantees his follow-up. And now we cannot kill this Cookie Yummy way because this boosts by 1000 this, and this boosts this by 1000 as well. So now this is 1600 and this is 2600. So now we cannot kill the Yummy Way, which looks really, really bad, but it actually does stop. It does not really accomplish all that much because we have a play in main phase 2, which we will go and do. We will kill this, and then we will crash our token. We obviously killed it so that we take less damage. We go rocks, he chains. Now the correct thing to do to rocks was probably to ogre it. Because if he ogres rocks and lets me pop this, I cannot go into SP for this turn. He does have his follow-up, and ogre will, like, this Madlove is not accomplishing anything. Like, yes, I'll pop his synchro, but this Madlove, normal summon Madlove, add my fire, I go link 1, add back, and then in his turn add back. I do not think that is enough to win the game. Genuinely. There is like some cheeky plays that can be done, aka like you add the Raisin and then maybe like Raisin add on his turn the Jiaolong. So like, for example, you go Holy Sue, so like normal summon Madlove effect, add field spell effect, target Madlove, add Raisin, or Jiaolong. Yeah, you add Jiaolong. And then link 1, add back Holy Sue, and then in his turn you add back the Madlove again, or the Burger. And then you go Holy Sue, reveal, special summon Jiaolong, and then effect of that, summon Raisin, Raisin pop, if he lets us get a Raisin. If not, we can summon another Jiaolong, and we can go Jiaolong effect, reveal the Raisin or Jiaolong that we added in our hand, and that will place the Pankratops in attack position, and then that will hit his monster. So that's also like a really cool play that we can do. But again, if he top decks like any level 1, then he just beats that, because Yummy Surprise, special Cup C effect, add the level 1, we attack Cup C, and then normal summon level 1, link 1 minion. It's not good. But he did not ogre it, so that's very good. We make SP first because we want him, when he ogres the Vanquish Soul start, because our zones are kind of messed. We can't go rock here or rock here because we can't summon the SP under it, so we have to SP Little Knight first. And now the SP Little Knight targets minion and resolves. We're like happy. He does chain the ogre, which I do not think is correct, because you can save ogre for SP on your turn. And me adding follow-up with start is not that important. I will just have like a Madlove that's here doing nothing because I can't put it into link 1. And yeah, I don't think that's correct. He top decks Judgment, he goes effect. We remove Little Knight because that's the last possible way to Little Knight this turn, because otherwise he has the quick effect to Synchro that will deal with Little Knight for the rest of the turn. And otherwise he will have the Synchro effects that tag out to deal with it. So there will never be a way to actually SP Little Knight. Here, what should have happened is when he made the Snatchy, before we let him go Cookie, we should have went Rock, add back Borger, and then special summoned Holy Sue, and then Borger summoned the Holy Sue, and that it forces him to attack the Borger if he wants to remove the Vanquisher. And we know the only out he has for this defense position Holy Sue, shout out defense position Ash, is for him to SP it. This is 0 defense, so it doesn't matter. But then how does he out our other monsters? Because he can't attack Pankratops anymore because of Rock of Vanquisher's effect. While you control the Vanquish Soul monster, your opponent can only target monsters you control with the highest attack. So if we summoned Borger, that would have forced him to attack the Borger first, which he has no monster that can go over Borger. Right? Or he goes Yummy, target the Borger. There's another play where we don't even summon the Borger, we just keep the Holy Sue in defense there, and he's forced to attack it, and then his SP will banish the face up Holy Sue instead of the face down Holy Sue. And we will keep a Holy Sue still, regardless of which one we lost, but this Rock of the Vanquisher might survive at that point. Might also not survive, but again, a defense position Holy Sue is something his deck cannot out at this point, unless he plays a Croc. Which, since he went through 2 link 1s, I'm assuming he just does not. So I opted to keep every card in my hand. And I used my Rock of the Vanquisher before he can tag out, because I don't want him to get Cookie effect to pop. shortly. Right. Another thing is, this is very well played by him because he is not going to use this to make SP. Like, the first play would have been to use the other two monsters, make SP, and then keep the Lollipop. And now he has Lollipop and SP. But I get my SP Little Knight back, and he gets his Snatchy back. And I can just go Battle Phase, SP, attack over Lollipop that kills his Yummy engine. And then I can just make a Typhon. So him putting the 2200 defense position monster on the field instead of having the 1200 attack position monster is a very well played move by him. So here we have a couple plays. Play number one, a bit burnt. Like, I'm showing you guys what we did, but yeah, play number one is try to just play. I go Holy Stew, he goes SP. I can go chain my SP, keep his SP, target SP, and then he gets his Cupsy way. Play number two is I play with Typhon, so I overlay Typhon. Typhon attacks over SP, and there's barely any out for a attack position Typhon. He can like maybe go for Cookie Yummy way, but two of them are in grave. He has to top deck the last one. Two surprise are in grave. I doubt he plays the third one, but I'm still gonna respect it. So at that point, we know he plays Judgment. We've seen it in the prior match, and Judgment on Typhon just seems a bit iffy for me. And I know that I can beat whatever he has here without needing to use my Typhon. So in my head, I'm like, all I have to do is force this, force this, force this, force everything he has, and then make a defense position Typhon. So like this Ash Blossom, normal summoned, make defense position Typhon, I win the game. This Ash Blossom is also on fire, so that really helps with Holy Stew effect. Eventually, I just decided that I don't want this SP to be coming in and coming back, coming in and coming back. He has two cards left in the extra deck other than the Cup C Synchro. And that's about it, right? We don't know what he banished, so we do not know what he has left, but we can assume that there's at least like a Herald of the Arclight there. He banished one Herald. I'm assuming he plays two, so there's at least one Herald there in another card. So I just go crash my SP, and then I go effective Holy Stew. And I'm just gonna play with Holy Stew. Here he tries to pop my Holy Stew, I chain. And he chains this. Now, you may ask yourself, do we chain the Borger or not? Now, if I chain Borger, put Borger back to my hand, and put the Holy Stew back to my hand, summon the Borger, which means that this will not get popped, it will stay in my hand, and then I'll summon Raisin effect, and I will have Borger as well. Raisin can add a dark and Borger can draw, but the issue is he goes Book of Moon afterwards, and I can no longer play the game, kind of, unless I tribute summon defense position Holy Stew, which, again, is a winning play. Because he does not play a Crocky, and he's almost out of engine. But again, if you can do a better play, why settle for a mediocre play, in my opinion? And that's what we did. Like, this can be a card that we've never seen from him, something really stupid, and maybe he... I do not even know. Maybe he plays a card that like can return this minion back. And yeah, so he plays, he tries to set the Raisin. We go Borger. The reason we do go Borger is this Raisin most likely can be used as a normal summon. Same for this Mad Love, normal summon, make Typhon. And yeah, special Borger effect, draw Nib, and that just makes things like a lot easier for us. He summoned like a billion times. He summoned for like all the Yummy players combined, so there was no question of whether this was live, but this does make it easier. Did I need it to win? I did not. It doesn't matter if he fills this board with Yummy monsters, it did not matter the slightest, because all I have to do is put the Typhon in defense position, or just, like, let's say I make a Typhon here, he judgments it, I will just go normal summon Mad Love, and link one, add back Holy Stew, and on his turn, Holy Stew in defense position, and that is game. Cannot out it. It's just physically not possible for him to out. And even if he like has the synchro at that point to go for Cookie targeted, I can go effect of Holy Stew, Dark Fire, summon another defense position monster that he cannot out, and we can just stall until I have enough good engine to beat him, and he will never have enough good engine to beat me because he doesn't have field spell and he's out of link ones. So now I'm thinking how to bait judgment, because this is my read right now, because he didn't purge the Raisin, he didn't imperm anything. If he had imperm, he would have impermed Holy Sue. Maybe he didn't because of the Borger, but maybe hits Raisin then, which he didn't. So I know this is judgment. I'm trying to force judgment. He judgment's here, and now it's just game. I go Nibiru. He feels very scummed, even if it didn't matter, because if I don't Nibiru, again, normal summon Mad Love, make Typhon in defense position, and that is just game. I remove the token. He top decks Purge. It's my turn. This is very questionable whether you want to use this Raisin effect or not. My thought process was, I do not think he plays anything that can let him play, right? Because Obedience School does not do anything without your Snatch. I even like jokingly say it, not even, because he usually, whenever he activates Obedience School, he sends the text, so I say not even would have saved you here, because he doesn't have access to Link 1, so it doesn't do anything. Summon 3 monsters that die. It's very bad. So I'm thinking, what cards can he have? If he has Imperm, and I normal summon Raisin, no effect, and I hit, it's game regardless. If he has the third Surprise, in my head, I was like, yeah, I go normal summon Raisin, no effect. I put this to attack position, I go battle phase, I hit, he allows. I hit with this, he goes effective Surprise, special summon back Cup C effect, add back a cookie. And then on his turn, he can go top deck any hand trap, normal summon the hand trap, make Almirage if he kept it, and then special the cookie, and then make Link to Synchro 2. And while that is still a very winning game state for me, I just didn't want to think about all of that. And if he does purge me and I do not kill him, which does sound like, oh, I just inted into the purge, he's still in the same game state where I'm one attack away from killing him after this turn. And what can he do? Like, there's no good top deck in his deck. Like, sure, if he top decks the Surprise at that point, he can go Surprise, Cup C, add name. But then he needs to, like, have Anima for that to work. Or, like, yeah, he goes Almirage. And even then, the Typhon is still sticking. So, in my opinion, whether it was correct or not, I'm unsure. I felt it was correct to activate the Raisin. It did enter very hard into the Purge. But yeah, it wasn't game, he top decks, never mattered, and that was it. So yeah, that's it, guys. Hopefully this was informative. This is my first YouTube video, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any pointers for me, anything that you guys would like to see more on the channel, any suggestions, anything that I could have done better, anything, whether you want like longer videos, shorter videos. This video is almost 35 minutes long, maybe 36. So this is a very, very packed video. I hope it was very informative. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.